Okay, this is Alex Duenas again. We're going to finish up chapter 11, which is the second half of week 3 lecture. And again, this is DT 2510. Let's go ahead and jump right in. So what we're going to be learning in this week's, or this second part of the tutorial, or this second part of this week's exercise, are fields, okay? Now, fields are kind of interesting because they can be inserted in tables, they can be inserted on their own, they can be inserted in blocks with attributes. They're really flexible. And what they're used for is used to retrieve data or information within the AutoCAD environment and extract it out and display it. So it kind of makes things really kind of handy. So let me give you, for instance, let me minimize this, give myself a little bit more real estate. I'm going to get rid of this up here. And I think that's all I can get. Okay, so if you take a look, we have our familiar model here. And I'm going to pan up. And if you notice, we have the kitchenette, we have the bath up there, and then we have the balcony. Okay, so this is a 1-bedroom studio apartment. Okay, so let's investigate some of the items here. And if we take a look at this and this, we notice that they're single items. They're not a block. Okay, again, had to zoom in there a little bit. What we want to do is we want to rename this block, and we want to see the name of the block reflected by the field. So let's go ahead and invoke the rename command, and want a block, want the kitchen. The new name is kitchenette. Oops. I don't even know if it has 2 ends. Let's assume it does. Net. Okay, kitchen. Nah, that doesn't look right. Okay, get rid of one of the ends. Kitchenette. All right, say okay. Invalid old name. Okay, kitchen is the old name. Kitchen, and rename to, I should read kitchenette. Okay, rename to. All right, here we go. Now, notice nothing really happens. And when I promote fields at work, all my coworkers that have tried it complain that, hey, it hasn't changed anything. Well, that's because you need to regenerate the drawing. As soon as you reopen the drawing, it will change. But why reopen the drawing? You can just regenerate it. So I'm going to type REGEN, hopefully regen, and there it is. So you can see now the field is now reading the block name of this kitchenette block right there. Whether you spell it correctly or not, it's going to read it, okay? Or it's going to rename it. All right, let's try another thing here. Now again, we took a look at selecting an object and picking its one of its characteristics, which was its name. Now let's take a look at other objects and see what other interesting pieces of data we can withdraw from AutoCAD. So I'm going to create a rectangle from here. Shift endpoint there. How come my O snaps aren't working? Let's see. No, they're all up. Okay, let's go back to 1, and let's just not put any multiplication or division, any kind of arithmetic kind of symbology there. So we're just going to type in 0.0833. Now, what is 0.0833? 0.0833 is the inverse of 1 over 12. And that's how you calculate when we're going from inches to feet, okay? So that's kind of what I did. So I say, okay, yeah, it accepted that, so let's continue. Accepts that. That's now 2756, almost 2756. That's still a little too large because the room tells me that it's supposed to only be 830 square feet. as opposed to 2700. So let me type units here so I can, and that's going to probably report back that it's inches. It is inches. So can't quite figure out why I'm not coming up with with the 230. Okay, I figured out what the problem was, and the problem wasn't in my math. The problem is up here. Rather than choosing decimal, I checked my units on my drawing, and it was in architectural. So I should go back to architectural units rather than decimal here. And go to additional format, take this off, and I should be okay. I can take the suffix off, because as soon as I go to architectural throws in the suffix. So it looks like it's about 230 square feet. So if I say OK, yep, it sure did. Regen, and it went ahead and updated. Okay, so the problem is that I had architectural units in my drawing, but I was using decimal for the field. As soon as I went to change that to architectural, everything seemed to work out. Now, that's nice that it's over here in the corner, but hey, I'd like it over here in the text. So what you can do is you can double click the text, since this is mtext, and I swipe the 230, but I want this number to go in there. So what I have to do is play the same game, is now read the area of the box and have the field load that in here. But I need to now create a field in a text box. So how do I do that? Well, what you can do is go up here, and now I have, again, the mini bar here. When you have full-size AutoCAD up, you're going to find the create field, insert field box or button. So I'm going to insert the field. Again, this box came up, and I want object, and then I want to go over here, and I want to select the object, which is the box, and now I want the area, and I want the area in architectural. Let's not forget that. Okay, so I probably don't want any rounding factor or any fractions, so I'll just hit OK, and now voila, I got 230 square feet. Now here's the cool part about this, is that if I take this grip and stretch it out to there, notice nothing happens, but then what do I have to do? I have to regen, and now all of a sudden this pops out to 299. Okay, so if I can take these rubber bands and reshape I can always get an accurate model of the, or I'm sorry, an accurate reading of what the area is. Okay, let's take a look at one other thing that the field can do for me in this rectangle field. F-I-E-L-D. Okay, go back to here, select the box. There we go. Okay, again, let's see if I go named object. We've already looked at that. Formula and block placeholder. Let's look at object again. Global width, layer, line weight, material, object name, thickness. Not quite sure what we can extract out. I think for right now the area was probably the most important thing. Maybe the next item would be the total length, the total circumference of this piece here. So anyway, well, let's go ahead and move on to the next section. Okay, the next subject has to do with annotation and the annotation ribbon, and it has to do with creating tables. Now you've probably seen tables like, let me see if I still have one loaded here. I don't think I do. Let me open one and I'll show you. Schedule, yeah, let's open that one. Okay, so here's the schedule. It's a room finish schedule and has room 100 to 117, and it describes what each one of the room is. So here the code is that the flooring is a type B, which could be like hardwood, A could be carpet, whatever. the architect's designated. And here the base could be whatever, like whether it's padding, insulation, or whatever they choose. Wall type, ceilings, and ceiling height, and area of that particular room. So all these can be placed in a field. Now, so this really works similar to Excel. So as soon as I highlight the table, notice how it lights up, and it's very similar to Excel. So if you know Excel, you'll find this kind of easy. So I'm going to start Excel right now so I can show you. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Okay, so here you go. Okay, see? Kind of looks like it, doesn't it? Okay, and it really behaves like it as well. Let me minimize this because I have to come back to it. So what I did was I started a new drawing, and we're going to create a new table, and let's say this table is going to represent I don't know, let's just make it up as we go along. So all I know is I want a table that is about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cells wide and about 9 cells deep as well. All right, so I want to go up here. I want to select table, and I want a 9 by 9 table, and let's go with legend. Why legend? It's because everything's justified to the left, and it will serve my purpose. So I go here, and I go ahead and blunk it down right there. Okay, as you can see that, again, this looks very similar to Excel. I have my window open. Now, let's see. If I open this little down arrow, I have a whole bunch of options as well. Okay, I just wanted to alert you again, but you'll probably have these displayed if you have the full version of AutoCAD displayed on your screen. Again, I have a little compact version here because of the recording area that I have to deal with. Anyway, so I'm happy with my cell, and so what we're going to do is populate the cell. Now, I'm not going to have you watch me fill these out. I'm just going to go ahead and fill it out and come back. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I went ahead and filled some data in. Okay, well, not data actually. These are the headers. So let's see. We have labs, homework, quizzes, exams, appearance, posture. Let's see. I spelled that wrong. Should be attendance, etc. This list could go on and on. Okay, I want to show you first of all is that we can expand and contract our cell just by grabbing the grips and opening it up. Okay, if I want to, I can click the center little triangle, and as I lift up, notice the table appearing on the right hand side. So it's kind of scrolling over there. Now this is good if you have like a parts list that's really long. You can kind of keep on adding to the part, and the table then adds on some auxiliary pieces over here, an auxiliary table over here, to the same formatting that you had initially. Okay, so you don't have to create another table and then reformat it. It just kind of carries on. Okay, another thing I want to show you is that you know what? One of the basics. I'm sorry. Let me regress. Let's take a look at these little spaces here. These little spaces, just like in Excel, are called cells. Okay, there's a cell, and each one of these cells represent a placeholder for some data. And these cells are identified by a alphanumeric naming system. So this cell here is A2. This cell here is merged A1 through I1. Okay, so that's all merged. Let's see. So these individual little boxes are cells. So kind of want to get that out of the way. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take a look at this text. Now, if I wanted to enter text in here, all I do is set myself up in the cell, double click in there, and then just start typing away. Let's say Alex. Well, Alex is the first student. Okay. Now, first thing that right off the bat is I notice that nothing's centered. So I can go up here and let's see, manage, or let's see if I wanted to go up here. I wanted to justify Okay, that's middle. Okay, it's middle left is where I'm justified. If I want to justify the column to, let's say, middle center, okay, that justifies the whole column to middle center. That's kind of what I want to do with all these guys here. So I want to right click, oops, duh, middle center. Now they're all middle center. Now, you can also paint the cell match. Let me go back and I'm going to send this format back to, say, top left, say. Okay, let's say I wanted to change this cell here. Oh, I'm sorry, let's reverse that. I want to change Alex back to centered up. So I'll touch this labs, which has the correct formatting. I'll go to the match cell and I'll click into Alex, and now all of a sudden it's copacetic. It's following the lead of this lab cell. Okay, so let's say I'm limited in space and the quizzes and the exams are kind of like this particular width that I need in order to be able to fit this on my piece of paper. So what I can do is let me expand these rows out. So I want to bring this, oh, I don't want to do that. I want to bring this one down. Bring this one down a little bit. Nope, I don't want to do that. I want to open it up. That's what I want to do. There we go. Just have to be careful with it. Okay. Now what I want to do in order to give myself a little bit more room, I want to take the headings of quizzes and exams and turn them vertical. So I go ahead and get into the cell, and I want to go to the properties, and I want to rotate this text. So if I go to properties, and you couldn't see that, it was kind of off screen. It was down at the bottom. But what you're looking for is properties, and you're looking for text rotation. And I see the text rotation. The text rotation is 0. Let me try 45 degrees just to be ridiculous, okay? 45 degrees. Interesting. That turns my text to 45 degrees. Let's go back, go properties. Let's just turn this 90 degrees like I initially wanted to. Oh boy, that was crazy. Zoom extends. Let's see what's happening to my cell. Do I want to save changes? Cancel. No, I don't want to save changes. Interesting. What happened? Oh boy. Let me undo to the point where I was. Okay, let me go back here. Double click the cell. Okay, double clicking the cell. I come back in here. Oops. Right click, properties. And here I want to change that to 90 degrees. Okay, there we go. I want to change this one to 90 degrees as well. Go properties, 90 degrees, and I'm good to go. So now that affords me the opportunity to reduce the size of the cell. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, that one worked. Go here. Okay, that one works. Okay, so you can see how that works, okay? Now, let's see. I can go ahead and keep on filling in data here for the balance of the students. And I can go ahead and fit a score in here for, say, 50 or 52 for homework. Quizzes, I get 100. And exams, I get a 65. Not 365, just a 65. And appearance, I get a 10. Posture, I get a 100. Attendance, still a little squished there, but attendance, I'll get a, I don't know, give myself an 85. And then whatever. Okay. So I went ahead and filled some information in here. Now what I want to do is I want to add what that score is. So what I can do is I can sit here, double click into this cell, move this up because I need to read what the nomenclature is here. So I want to enter in equals, oh, you know what? I'm so confused now because of I'm thinking Excel. I don't know if I need the equals, but let's try it. Equals B3 plus C3 plus D3, and I'm going to suspend the recording here, so I'm going to go ahead and do this while and you don't have to watch me as I type these numbers in. Okay, I finished typing here, and let's see what we got. Okay, we got 412. Okay, so we see how that works. Okay, so this works just like Excel, where I can add each one of these cells together and to produce the sum. Now, with Excel, I just double click and I can say plus and then hit the cell, and the cell number nomenclature would automatically appear, but that's not the case with AutoCAD. Okay, here's another cool trick that we can do in AutoCAD, similar to Excel. All right, so let's say I went ahead and filled in all these names and put in the scores for every one of the students. Okay, so imagine this is all filled in. So what I can do if I want to copy this, I don't want to sit there and type that formula in over and over again. You run the risk of making an error. So what I want to do is I want to go in here and notice I've got the 4 grips, but I also have a little diamond there. If I click that diamond and drag down and then click to the last cell I want that cell to copy, notice I get a duplicate of each one of this formula. So let's double click this and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so now rather than reading B3 to C3 to D4, or D3, I'm sorry, now it reads B4 to C4 to D. Now if I travel down to the 10 row here, it says now B10, C10, D10, E10, etc. So what it's doing is grabbing all these cells that are in the 10 row and adding them together. So it's kind of a quick way of duplicating the your formula. Okay, one of the last things I want to show you relative to this stuff is I want to show you how to merge a cell. Okay, so what I do is I take a couple of cells and I go ahead and swipe them. I come up here to merge cells, and I want to merge, don't want to merge all, but I want to merge by row. So I just click that, and all of a sudden those two cells are merged and this text is centered up. But notice it's centered up in the wrong spot. So again, have to come over here to my formatting, select middle center, and I'm good to go. Okay, so you can kind of see how the cell gets put together. All right, let's jump to the next topic. Okay, let me go ahead and open up a blank drawing because we're done with this. Now what we're going to do is we are going to import a table or from an Excel file. It should be easy to do. Let's see. That's interesting. Template is currently in use. Usually templates aren't supposed to act that way, but I guess they do. So let me open a new file. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to go to Excel. My cell table back up. Right there. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to copy this whole range that I've selected, and I want to bring it into AutoCAD. So what I have to do is right-click, copy. So that copies that selection. Come back in here into AutoCAD. Let me minimize that to get me some more real estate. And then I want to go up here, edit, paste, special. Okay, I have all these options, but in this case, I want to import it in as a Microsoft Excel worksheet. Now, I can paste the link in as well, and notice that Excel is my only option. But if I just paste like a picture, that's contained under this bundle. So let me just select that, and I'm asked now to place my file. Okay, now it didn't create a table, but basically a picture of what Excel's doing. Okay, so whenever Excel theoretically changes, so does my table in here. Okay, now let's say we want to go the reverse way. Okay, let's open up one of those other files we had open earlier. The schedule. Let's see. And let's open this one up. Okay, so this is a schedule we want open or exported. And so all I need to do is issue the command TABL table export right here. Okay, now AutoCAD is then reporting back that it wants to place a particular type file somewhere, and that file is a CSV file, very common if you're doing Excel work. So let's see, I'm just going to put that on the desktop, say save. All right, so now I have a CVS saved on my desktop. Let me go back to Excel and let me file open a CVS, which is on my desktop. And that's not it. No, not downloads, desktop. Okay, and I have to select the file type, which is, let me just go all files. Make things easier. Table, right there. Okay, so there we go. So that happened actually pretty quick. So now the table that I imported in, this is the table that I've imported in from AutoCAD with all the cells. So if you wanted to do some work, if you needed to send this report in a different format, you could do that from AutoCAD. Okay, the last section of Chapter 11 is how to set up a style for a table. Now notice this table here is already kind of set up. So if you have this type of schedule, reoccurring in the future on different projects, then what you want to do is you want to set up this type of style in your AutoCAD template. Okay, and so where you get that is, again, you go to annotate, and I should, you know what, let me expand this out. AutoCAD, annotate. I'm gonna go ahead and bust this out, and my apologies for going full screen, but I wanted to get to the table styles, and here it is. So I'm gonna try to minimize this. Again, now it won't let me. Okay, tables, there we go. All right, so notice this is the table style editor, and here's where I'm going to start off. So let's say I wanted something in this format, and I kind of knew what each one of these dimensions were. I could create a new style. Okay, so copy. I'm going to call this Alex. I'm going to try and do this as fast as possible. And I can't if I don't get this right. Boy, I tell you, my fat fingers. And it wants me to start off. I'm going to start off with the standard. And I want to continue. And okay, all of a sudden this new style window comes up. And first choice I have to make is I want the table to move downwards rather than upwards. If you're working on revision lists or some type of mechanical parts list, you might actually go up on a table rather than down. So anyway, let's move on to the data, where the cells that we're dealing with now are the data cells, not the header, not the title. This is the title, headers. We're dealing with the data. And so I can create new cell styles, or I can go in here and manage the cell styles. So here's the data. And if I want a new cell style, I can just create it here, copy of data, and I can say this is called Alex data. Okay, start with data and continue. And here I can invoke Alex data whenever I'm working in the in my main table. So let's see. Let's talk about data. So general. Okay, the fill color here is white, or clear actually, but I can specify any kind of fill color for the data. Okay, but in this case I want none. My alignment initially is top center, but notice, remember, we've been working with middle center, so that's my middle center. Okay, the text format is going to be all uppercase in this case. Type is data. and not label. Let's see, data as opposed. I think I'm not quite sure. I never choose anything but data, but I think label just could be just plain text in there as opposed to numbers or things that you can manipulate. Okay, merge cells in row column creation. No, I'm okay there. Let's go now to the text type. Now we're still in the data style. So now I want text style to be standard. Okay, text height, I want to make it 14. Text color, I want to go ahead and say red. Okay, text angle, let's say 11 degrees. And notice, oops, that's actually not what I wanted. I thought it was going to italicize it. Let's say 0. Okay, and with that, let's go to move to the borders. Okay, the border line weight for the small data cells, I want it to be not that thick, but thick enough. Okay, line type, let's make it dash be interesting, and the color is going to be green. Double spaced, now I'm okay. And this is going to be my spacing. So every cell is going to get the line treatment. Now, it doesn't look very good, so let's go back to by layer and let's go back to continuous. Okay, and I think we're okay. And say like that, and then we're back. Okay, let's move to the next type of text or cell to modify is the header. So the header, let's say we want a blue, nice blue cyan to fill in the header, and the text is too light, so I'm gonna, when we get to the text, I'm going to fix that. Middle center, we have, that's fine. Label type is label. In this case, notice that's a label, this is text. I mean data, okay? So that's the difference. Okay, I'm done there. Let's go to text, standard, 18 high, which is fine. Text color, let's use maybe, let's see, green. Oh, no, that doesn't work. Blue, yeah, works better. Okay, borders. In this case, I want really heavy borders. Line weight, okay, 0.50. And I want just surrounding the outside, not every single cell. So I think I'm good there. Let's move to the next type, title. Okay, go to general, filler. Let's go blue this time. And I'm going to keep everything else the same. Text, standard. This one's 1/4 of an inch high, which is bigger. Text color is white. That's fine. And let's see, line weight. That's going to be a heavy line weight as well. Let's try 0.70 all the way around. And line type, that's fine, it's continuous. Oh, let's go double line. I think everything's okay. Say okay. Okay, once we have that, now we've defined the Alex style. So if we say okay, and we have it, let's go to cell and see if we can assign the Alex style. So again, let me highlight the table, right click, and let's go to cell style. And hey, what happened to my cell style? It was just there a second ago. Not the cell style, it's a table style actually. Okay, right click. I have to get the cell, okay? Not the cell, I'm sorry, the table style. Here we go, there it is right there. Okay, now I've just changed this now to the Alex style, and check it out. It's actually looks pretty good. So you can kind of see here what I've done in manipulating this cell. So my recommendation is that you kind of get in there, experiment around, see what cell types you like, and hopefully you can apply the lessons that you learned in chapter 10 and 11 to accomplish your tasks not only better but faster. Okay, that seems to be the end of week 3, and sorry this took so long, but this was I was really struggling to get this particular tutorial out since I've had to like squeeze time to get it done, and I'm sorry it's not so succinct, but drawn out. So anyway, enough for apologies, and we will see you next week in week 4. Bye.